God. Today I will talk about art. You know art, right? So today I'm going to talk about it. First of all, what is art? That's a question we always have. Art is paintings you always see, but there's sometimes different kinds of art, like pictures, and also pottery, like that. So art is like sometimes you will have some same art like having a frame, you will draw with other things like a brush. That to draw a brush and frame, but not only some of the days you always do like that, because sometimes old socks and old thingies can even do the old art. So the main art you always thought, and also the artist is called a painter. A painter is a person who paints on frames that are boards that like this painting. But artists can also paint in many different ways. They use brushes. Mainly they use brushes to help them. To draw and draw other things like that. But some artists use different kind of things, like they use dripping and also spilling the paint on the board. Also, there's a really quickly way kind of art that you spill the paint on the board and you draw it really quickly, like that. So artists do like that, and not like many of the artists do like that. They can also draw on different things, like murals. Murals are those things that they draw on walls. Walls. A draw on walls. Draw on walls. But there's a wall, and they draw like these things, and they draw the ocean, the ship, like that. They draw the ocean, ships, like that, and that's a mural. But it's a building though. They can draw a building, walls, and other things. Different kind of art portray different kind of things. There's also a much really harder art called a scope. Scopes. A scope. You know scopes? That is like sculptors. Those people who always scope things. So I will say that sculptors, they have iron, they sculpt iron, or even sometimes they even sculpt with wood. So the first step they will sculpt is they have to cast a metal sculptors. Wait a second, I have to do something first. And back, I just go to the bathroom a minute. So as the same thing, the first step of the scopes. To cast a metal sculptor, first sculptor carve a clay model of the shape. Then they cover clay shape with plaster with which dries and hardens, like like the like the cast are broken off into a mold, and they pour hot liquid metal into the hard plaster mold. The liquid metal cools and hardens. The sculptors remove plaster molds from the sculpture. They can now polish their artwork. Potters. Now sculptors are different. You have to see sculpts. Okay, there's the pot of these things. They pour into a cup, and here it's a legendary sculpts. That's sculpt. Sculpt. But pottery is different. Let's see. Draw. Let's see. There's I can draw we will. Let's see. Let's see. That's that pot. This is actually a pot. So it'd be pottery. Like I said before, pottery is really difficult. But if you're well at pottery, you can do it very well. Like you can do many things. Like you can make a pot, or even you can make some animal sculpts. But first of all, I will show you some. First, potters, not like Harry Potter, but sorry, but potters first carve a pot by a pottery wheel, and they will, when they finish pottery wheel, they put it in the oven called a kiln. The kiln will bake the potters, and then when they get the pots and also the jugs will be ready to sell, and they also can be ready to paint and other things. Glass blowers. Glass blowers. That's the most difficult. Now glass blowers happen to be the very difficult job of all, but when you say it, you never seen it before, so I'll show you what a glass blower is. Now, here's us a ball of glass. A ball of glass got heated. That here's a ball of glass. It got heated by the fire. But first of all, scorpions don't like any pottery. But first, I'll show you each of the things you like. So, pottery is still on a scope. Glass blowers. Glass is really difficult to make. But first of all, I'll show you. Glass is very gooey. It bounces like heavy soap. And glass blowers scoop up a block of hot glass with a long hollow metal tube called a blowpipe. A blowpipe is something that you always know. They scoop up, and the blowpipe will have a stick. The blow air for the tube to make the glass bubble. When the glass is hot, they can rotate the soil bubble. They can make it wide or thin or tall. While the glass is soft, it's easy to work with the shape. Artists make add colorful streaks and swirls or handle knob. That's really a good idea of making glass. Second is a use what? Come on, I'm just gonna make this. A space. I can make a big sand castle on the beach. You can sometimes see their artwork when they left. See? A big cycle, so. Or sometimes they can make isolation. They can make a big spider or anything inside a room. Or they can found in ancient time, art is also been found like this. And also, when you ever go outside, make sure you want to see art. Art is my favorite thing, and I like art very much. Thank you. Bye bye. See you later.
Good job.